The EU's head mediator Michel Barnier says the Irish supporting is portion and package of the UK's Brexit transactions and will not be renegotiated. Talk at the Europe Parliament, Mr. Barnier told it was a lifelike decision to prevent a difficult boundary. UK MPs elect over the monthly versus the transactions coordinated by the UK and EU for 18 months of talks. Instead of, on Tuesday, they elect 4 p.m. Theresa May to search option institutional arrangement to the supporting. The UK is due to keep the Europe Association at 23 o'clock GMT on March 29. The supporting is an insurance coverage politics to halt the backup checks on consumer goods and human beings on the Northern Ireland boundary. As it stands, the supporting would efficaciously hold the UK within the EU's Customs Officer Association, but in Northern Ireland as well compliant to several rules of the solitary marketplace. It was one of the major reasons Mrs. May's Brexit transactions was elected downward in Parliament by an historical profit over in January, as critics say a various statute for Northern Ireland could endanger the life of the UK and terror how the supporting could be constant. Mrs. May has told Down there are several probable alternatives to the supporting how she requested to talk in EU leaders. These involve a trust merchant schema to escape natural checks on consumer goods flow via the boundary, reciprocal acceptance of rules in the EU and technology solutions. Yet, Industry Secretariat Greg Clark said at its Peston program how he did not believe such engineering possibilities are down there still. Mrs. May as well wants to talk a period range on the supporting and a simplex output arrangement, both of options controlled out by the EU in the history. The communication of the EU, although was the supporting, remained an essential portion of the departure treaty, the as-called divorce rate transactions assenting the regulation of the UK's output of the EU. Mr. Barnier told, quietly and obviously, I will say order there and now, in the departure treaty offered for ratifying, we requirement the supporting as it is, rejection the supporting as it stands present boils downward to rejection the decision that has been found in the UK, but the issue remnant. Mrs. May had a 45-min telephone urge in the CEO of the Europe Justice, Donald Incisor, on Environment Night, outlined as outdoor and frank by one resource. The resource as well told Mrs. May was said the EU could not hold divination which might job, so it was up to the UK to ensure solutions how could get a most in the House of Commons. The Irish Dowsiak, Leo Varadkar, as well tell to Mrs. May and told the newest developments had strengthened the requirement for a supporting that is juridically strong and feasible in experience. Over, his vice, Simon Coveney, gave a precautionary above Mrs. May's next plans for the supporting, proverb how nobody who permitted the national borders and divisions of the history to back would be convicted sharply in story. He added, down there are several things how are more than essential rather than economical relationships and the is one of them. CEO of the Europe Committee Jean-Claude Juncker told he believed Mrs. May's private obligation to escape sliding behind to more dark times history, but he told the security net of the supporting was required to hinder it. He added, we include no wish to use the security net, yet no security net can be really secure if it can fair be remote at any period. But UK MEP Nigel Farage attacked the EU, pretending it had spurred Mrs. May in the supporting in the at first location. The ex-UKIP lead said the Europe Parliament, I take Mistress May done a terrible error by signature up to the supporting, yet you called her at 4:15 in the night, she leftward Downing Road, she went to encounter the ultimatum you set her. She signed up to thing how has proven to be a calamity. She signed up to thing how no nation, except it had been conquered in warfare, would include signed up to. We now understand how error and the building of House of Commons, the nation is common looking for a transactions. And prudent MEP Ashley Fox told the supporting would build a difficult boundary, quite rather than hinder a, except it was corrected. At the identical period as the Europe Parliament was debating Brexit, Mrs. May and Labour lead Jeremy Corbyn were keeping their length-awaited meet on the question, next an over collision at Main Secretary's questions. In the House of Commons, Mr. Corbyn often forced Mrs. May to guideline out a not-deal Brexit, following a most of MPs elect versus the perspective in El's voice on Tuesday. But Mrs. May told, "Thou cannot fair voice to deny no transactions, you include to supporting a transactions." Thereafter meet, off of the cameras, was really warm, on to a Labour representative. Down there was a helpful exchanging of view. We done the instance for our schedule. Down there was a comprehensive exchanging of view on a customs officer association and solitary marketplace relation. The couple coordinated to encounter once again quickly, the representative added. The Europe Parliament's Brexit focal point, Guy Verhofstadt, supported his associate by critical the UK for not creature precise on which they requested of the transactions. He told the 2 year had been grueling on both of sides of the canal, and named for Mrs. May and Mr. Corbyn to job along, no just consuming biscuits and potable chike, to go to a crucifix party decision and to halt with and misuse Brexit to get rid of every sum. Mr. Juncker told the votes in the House of Commons on Tuesday enlarged the hazard of a unrestrained Brexit, but he yet believed down there could be a transactions made among the EU and UK. Addition, we will job day and overnight to do it occur, and to provide we are prepared in instance it does no.